Animal Crossing, or Duputsu no Mori in Japan, is a life simulation game which you, a human villager, move into a village comprised completely of animals. You can catch fish, catch bugs, donate fossils to a museum where an owl lives, pay off your loans to a raccoon, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The original Animal Crossing was released in 2001 for the N64 in Japan. It was then re-released in 2002 in North America when it came out for the GameCube. The next year it came out in Australia, and then finally in 2004 the original Animal Crossing saw its final release in Europe. Since its original release in 2001, Animal Crossing has seen 3 main series titles and 3 spin-off games, including the mobile game Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. The game has an incredible legacy, with many dedicated fans who do anything for the franchise, including myself. But to me, Animal Crossing is more than just a game with a talking Shih Tzu and an angry mole. It's probably one of my favorite game franchises of all time. And before we get into that, we have to go back to the year 2004. It's 2004. I'm 6 years old, and it's the middle of the summer. The Red Sox are on their way to win their first World Series in 86 years. The Killers, they just released their album Hot Fuss in June, and they had their single Mr. Brightside on there, which was playing on the radio constantly. And everybody in the world was blissfully unaware that the greatest film of all time would come out in October of that year. Shark Tale. Looking back at that year, 2004, it was probably one of the best years of my childhood. To be honest, I couldn't pinpoint why until recently. Was it because that year, Green Day released their hit album, American Idiot, which basically launched my interest in punk music? Or was it because me and my father bonded over the Red Sox going to the World Series that year? Looking back on it, it probably was a little bit of both, but I think it was mostly because 2004 was the year I started to play Animal Crossing. Around this time in my life, 2004-ish, I was staying at my grandparents' a lot. My parents were pretty much always busy to take care of me and my sister, so they kind of just dump us there to hang out with my grandma, which was awesome. I love her a lot. I would haul my GameCube back and forth between my parents' house and my grandparents' house to play while I was there because I love my grandma, but there wasn't a GameCube there. During that summer, there was a day where my auntie Diana came down to visit, and I love her to death, and she would always watch me play SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom or whatever the hell I was playing on my GameCube, and it was a lot of fun because she was pretty much the only other person in my family who enjoyed video games to some degree. But one day she comes in, she's got this fucking cardboard box in her hands, and she's like, "This is for you," and I'm like, what is that? And she lets me look inside, and it's her entire GameCube setup that she had at her house, and she was like, "I'm getting too old for this, I'm having kids, I'm gonna get married soon, you can have this, it'll be better off in your hands." And it was the GameCube, a controller, and then like 5 games, including Resident Evil 0. I had to dig for this one, totally forgot what it was called. R Racing Evolution was rated T, was a big deal for me to play that game. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Animal Crossing. But after my aunt hands me her entire video game collection, essentially, I felt mixed emotions, you know? I realized that she would probably not talk to me about video games as much anymore because she was getting busy. But I was grateful because, hey, I have a second GameCube now, which is crazy. But I understood it was probably for the best, so we went into the other room and she helped me set the GameCube up. So as we're setting the GameCube up, she takes Animal Crossing out of the box, looks at me in the eyes and says, "I do not understand this game. I don't get it, but maybe you will like it." So we plug in the GameCube, she pops in the disc, and she loads up her file, which I would come to play on for the next 3 years, entitled Peanut, and she let me explore. So, the next couple of years were filled with this game. I absolutely fell in love with it. I would play it every chance I got. Its atmosphere completely sucked me in. And since then, I would go on to own every entry in the Animal Crossing series. I'd play Wild World on the bus rides to school. I'd play City Folk in the basement of my house, and New Leaf in the high school cafeteria in my college dorm. The series had essentially become the most important piece of media in my entire life, and there are so many reasons why. It's such a satisfying and freeing loop, like right out of the gate. You can, as soon as you get off the bus, you pretty much just work for Tom Nook, and you can do whatever you want. You can go dig up fossils, go catch bugs when you get the net, go catch fish when you get the fishing pole, and talk to all the villagers that your heart desires. And all of these activities will eventually get you money somehow, whether it's doing errands or selling the bugs and fish and fossils that you've gathered. And as a kid, I wasn't entirely used to this style of game. I usually played like platformers like Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, or sports games like NHL 2003, which I could do a whole video essay on that game itself. What a beautiful video game. NHL 2003. But after I got used to the style of game, I eventually realized that, hey, giving a fat stack of cash to Tom Nook is far more fun than doing a slam dunk in NBA Street Volume 2. But the overall loop of Animal Crossing was incredibly freeing for me as a kid. It made me feel really, really independent, which is something that an 8-year-old doesn't really get to feel that often. And sometimes as a 21-year-old, I don't get to feel that. But honestly, sometimes I still wish I could exist in the Animal Crossing universe and just fish all the time and work for Brewster. The villagers are also a huge reason why I love this game so much. I mean, finding the animals that you really love or you really hate is really fun. As a kid, I used to just write letters to animals and they would never respond in like a direct way. They'd say like, "Oh, what a nice letter, thank you." Even it said, "Fuck you, Limburg, get out of my town, you stupid jackass." But at the end of the day, the villagers are really a huge reason why you want to stay playing this game forever. I mean, finding that one villager you get hit by a train for, and you do errands for them until you pass out from exhaustion is amazing. And then there's the concept of customization. It's not, like, incredibly deep or anything, but just being able to customize your room is something that I always loved as a kid. I mean, you ever sit there for hours and think about your dream room as a kid? Like, what color you would paint the walls, what furniture you would get? This probably stems from the fact that I watched an incredible amount of Extreme Makeover Home Edition with Ty Pennington with my family, and the kid would always get a huge pirate ship as his bed, and I'd be like, "Oh man, that's awesome," but I couldn't have that, so instead I had Animal Crossing, where I'd get the Valentine's Day themed furniture and make my room look sexy as fuck, and I'd be happy. But basically, Animal Crossing was that outlet for me, you know? I got to customize my room in any way I wanted to, and it made me happy. Like I said, while customization isn't too deep, you can still also wear whatever you want. And as someone who's non-binary and wants to look androgynous and can't do that every day in real life, either because, you know, clothes are too expensive or you can't find specifically what you want to wear, playing New Leaf over the past couple of years has really made me feel better about myself, at least just being able to wear pretty much whatever you want in game. The series honestly has just helped with mental health across the board for me. Being able to escape into a town of small animals that'll talk to you about how their day was for a little bit after a long day of work or something is really relaxing and helpful, to be honest. It kind of helps you reevaluate and get back on track. And then there's the music. Kazumi Totaka's soundtracks for Animal Crossing are amazing. They kind of just completely capture the feel of the game as a whole, and I know that's the goal of every soundtrack, but it's really special when it comes to Animal Crossing. The decision to give every hour of a day its own song is genius. Every song for, like, whether it be 7 p.m., 5 a.m., captures that hour, and you might be like, yeah, that's because you played the game, and at that time the song comes on, but, like, I don't know, something about the 11 p.m. song from New Leaf, like, it just feels like the day is winding down and you're getting sleepy and about to go to bed. But not only is there a song for every hour, they'll get remixed depending on the weather, so if it's snowing or raining, you'll get a little bit of a different version of the song. And 2 a.m. Rain from New Leaf is probably one of my favorite video game songs of all time. The simplicity of the song and just the bells while the rain falls in the background is really, really soothing, and it's really nostalgic for me because I'd be playing New Leaf on my 2DS at 2 a.m. and I'd be falling asleep getting ready to go to bed, and if it was raining, that song would be playing, and just some cozy ass memories with that song, you know? From the first time I started playing Animal Crossing to about 14ish, I didn't have many friends. I would mostly just stay inside and play video games all day because it's either that or hang out with my siblings, and we usually fought a lot and it wasn't a lot of fun to hang out with them, and I did have a couple of friends, but they lived far away, and it took a lot of have your mom talk to my mom so we can maybe have a sleepover type thing, and it usually didn't work out, so I mostly just stayed inside playing video games. And I would end up playing a lot of Animal Crossing. So I'd end up playing Animal Crossing for hours and hours on end, and usually not in the way you're supposed to. I'd fuck with the clock a lot, but I'd just play, and I'd just be happy to talk to the villagers for the most part. It sounds a little lame, but I'd just honestly be happy to do whatever. Like, they'd ask me to do an errand, I wouldn't even care about the item. I'd just be happy to get my friendship level up with them. Animal Crossing pretty much gave me a bunch of friends to hang out with. I would talk to villagers all day, do errands for them. They'd invite me over, we'd hang out in their house, you know, listen to a little bit of music. But to be honest, I was just happy to talk to them. I didn't really care about, like, the items they'd give me. I mostly had all the items in City Folk because I'm a fucking real gamer. But it all sounds kind of sad for a 10-year-old kid to be sitting in his basement and hanging out with ducks and birds for like hours on end, but it honestly really helped me develop some like important social skills for making friends later in life. Just, you know, to be polite as possible and do whatever you can to make the other person happy, you know? But one friend I did make through Animal Crossing was my sister. Now, me and my sister, like most siblings, would argue and fight, like, a lot. But when I got City Folk on the Wii, she would just watch me play for, like, hours and hours on end, and we'd just talk while I tried to catch the coelacanth, and could not do it. But she really just liked hanging out with me while we would play, and we'd never really done anything like that before. It was really strange that Animal Crossing City Folk was the thing that kind of brought us together. But in City Folk, we really both agreed on one big thing, and it's that we loved this one villager named Bones. And if you don't know who Bones is, I'll probably have a picture of him up on the screen. He's just a dog villager. I think he's got like a lazy archetype, and I don't know, something about him just kind of captured me and my sister's attention. He was just really nice to us all the time, and she would always want me to talk to him. I would always want to talk to him, and any time we'd like see him around the town, my sister would like scream at the screen. She'd be like, "There's Bones!" And I'd be like, "Oh my god, there's Bones." Like all things, it had to come to an end eventually, and Bones moved out, and I have this very vivid memory of my sister crying and me embracing her, telling her that maybe he would come back, but he did not come back. I did not know how to save Scummit to get him to come back at that point, so he was gone. But it didn't kill our love for the game, you know? We keep playing. Looking back on it now, City Folk is definitely one of the most important video game experiences I've ever had. Not just because of my genuine love for the title itself, but because of the time I spent with my sister. So, Nintendo had their E3 Direct the other day for 2019, and upon other things that they announced, they finally showed gameplay of the Animal Crossing Switch game and revealed the title, and it's called Animal Crossing New Horizons. And my lord, it looks so cute. I watched the direct at my internship. Do not tell my internship, but I was crying in my cubicle. But the game looks really great, and most of the reason why I was crying was because I was thinking about the fact that I've grown up with this game. Since I was 6 years old, I've been playing Animal Crossing, and it's crazy to think that in March 2020, March 2020, I will be playing Animal Crossing New Horizons a month before I graduate college. So, thanks, Animal Crossing. Thank you for literally being there whenever I needed you to be. Thank you for growing up with me. Most importantly, thank you for teaching me that capitalism sucks. Fuck Nook.
Hit the dab.
I'm not gonna hit the dab. So, yeah, welcome to Dale's Tavern, I think is what we've decided on for now. Yeah!
It's not future-proofing it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fuck it. Welcome to Dale's Tavern. That's what it's called for now. I don't know what it'll be called in future. It might be called something else. It might be called something...
Lampcast Gaming.
Lampcast Gaming. But there'll be tons of stuff in the description. Links to other people's art, my poetry, a bunch more stuff, and there'll be more video essays and stuff coming soon. I don't know if we have any other content planned except for video essays, but there'll be a Joe Perro one, some more stuff on music, some more gaming content. You know, you love that gaming content.
Gaming. Love that gamer content.
Subscribe.